Did you know that there are hundreds upon hundreds of frantic business owners on Upwork right now offering like $50 to anyone who can fix a broken spreadsheet code? And here's the cool thing. You don't need to know code. You just need to know how to make ChatGPT write Regex formulas, Regex formulas. Right now, as you're watching this, there are maybe, 247 business owners refreshing their Upwork page with their hands shaking a little bit. Their spreadsheets are broken. Their pivot tables are showing the wrong totals or maybe spill codes or NA codes, whatever it is, their data won't sync up. Their quarterly reports could be due in like 4 hours and the formula that worked yesterday just stopped working. So they're offering $50 to $75 to anyone who can fix it. Some are offering even $150, and they do not care about your credentials. They don't care if you've never coded before. They just need someone to fix it within the next couple of hours. And here's what breaks the internet at this moment. We can walk in, you can solve their problem in the next 12 to 15 minutes using something like ChatGPT. You can pocket the cash, and then they will leave you a 5-star review. That review becomes your storefront, and your storefront becomes your semi-passive income stream. But almost nobody is out there doing this right now. That's why we're talking about it. And the reason is they think they can't code. Well, let me show you why that's wrong.
The Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast.
What the hell is up, my Dark Horse friends and family? Let me tell you, spreadsheet hell has a very specific signature. It looks like a formula, usually something that worked perfectly maybe 6 months ago. You know, those sheets that you use once or twice a year, maybe once a quarter, and all of a sudden this VLOOKUP that was pulling customer data from another sheet isn't working anymore. Maybe it's an if statement that categorized your expenses. Maybe it's a concatenate that merged the first and the last names. And then for some reason, something changes. Maybe something in your data. A column gets deleted. A file gets reorganized. A data source shifts, and suddenly the entire formula throws out an error. The business owner just sits there hitting refresh and stares at it. You can almost see the color leave their face. They Google the error code, and then they find 17 different forum posts, each one more technical than the one before it, and they realize that they're drowning. And that's when panic sets in. And this is the exact moment you need to exist in their field of vision. Here's what most people don't understand about ChatGPT and spreadsheets. The tool doesn't need to understand coding theory. It just needs to understand pattern recognition. A spreadsheet formula is just that. Pure pattern. It's a set of rules applied to data. It's almost criminally simple to generate once you know what a user actually wants from the data. But users don't know how to describe what they want. They speak in business problems. I need to extract the domain from the email address. Well, that's not really a technical request. That's a business request. ChatGPT is fluent in translating business problems into formulas. You just become the translator that stands in the middle. Okay? You with me? All right. So stick around. Here we go. The spreadsheet errors that those business owners or you will encounter fall into like 6 different categories. A broken VLOOKUP formula where the reference table is probably changed. Date formulas returning these weird serial numbers instead of those readable dates that they're looking for. Regex, Regex formulas, regular expressions that are trying to validate or extract text patterns from really messy data. Array formulas that should stack but aren't working correctly. Permission or connection issues between sheets, between data sources, and occasionally some broken VBA code or VBA macros that were written by someone who left the company 2-3 years ago. These show up constantly on Upwork because Excel automation built on old macros is everywhere in small to medium businesses. That's it. Those are 94% of the Upwork spreadsheet requests that are out there right now. Most of them take less time to fix than it takes to listen to this podcast episode, right? And I'm going to keep it short. You know I do. But let's get specific here. Let's say someone posts on Upwork something like this. My VLOOKUP isn't working anymore. I'm pulling customer IDs, and that was working fine last week, and now it shows this $N/A error. Okay, you click the thread and you ask a clarifying question. Did you add or delete any columns to the lookup table? 9 times out of 10, that is the issue. The VLOOKUP formula contains an absolute reference. It could be something like, and I'm going to read this out for those of you that don't understand. VLOOKUP, open parenthesis, A2, sheet 2, $A$1, $100, comma 3, comma false. And if they deleted column in sheet 2, well, then the column index, that 3, is now pointing to wrong data, or it could be pointing to blank, which will get them wrong data. The fix to this takes, if you're experienced, like 90 seconds. And the cleanest way to deliver it is with an XLOOKUP. VLOOKUP, right? Yeah. This is Microsoft's newer, more bulletproof lookup function that replaces VLOOKUP with Microsoft, 365 back in 2019? I think it was 2019. Anyway, you give them the ChatGPT generated XLOOKUP or an index max version. And I know I'm speaking a lot of code here. I've been doing Excel since it was Lotus 123, but stick with me. You give them the ChatGPT generated XLOOKUP or perhaps an index max version, which is far more robust and will not break when those columns get moved around by someone that doesn't know that formula even exists. They pay you $50. I don't know. They pay you whatever they feel like. And guess what? They're happy to do that because they're crying in relief that you've solved their problem and they can report the numbers to their boss like they need to. But here's where most people are going to fail 100%, going to fall straight on their face when it comes to monetizing this. They're going to solve the problem and then poof, disappear. They're not going to ask why the formula broke. They're not going to explain what they changed. They don't even try to build up any kind of relationship capital. The repeat business, the testimonials and the referrals, all that disappears because you treated it like a one-off gig instead of a service relationship. Stick with me here because this is very important. And no matter what you're doing, you need, because you're listening here, because you're my dark horse entrepreneur, you, my friend, need to do the complete opposite. After you fix our spreadsheet, you're going to send a message something like this. Hey, I noticed that your VLOOKUP was breaking because, and you give them the technical reason. Here's what I would recommend to prevent this from happening in the future. And you give them the preventative measure. Also, if you ever need help building dashboards or automating reports or anything like that inside of Excel or whatever tool you're helping them with, I do offer a package rate. Just let me know. That message right there is worth way more than $50 because it seeds the idea that you are not just a fixer anymore. You want to be a partner. Now let's talk about those Regex, R-E-G-E-X formulas I talked about earlier, because this, I think, is where the real money lives. Regex is regular expression, like I mentioned earlier, which is basically a find, stick with me, pattern language. It looks like gibberish, right? If I type this out, and I'm going to put an example down in the show notes for you so that you can see what it is I'm saying. It will be, what is that? The shifted 6, right? It's that little arrow pointing up, open square bracket, A minus Z, A minus Z0, minus 9, point, parenthesis, or point, underline, percentage symbol, plus, minus, close bracket, plus, you get what I'm talking about, right? I could read this whole thing out that I wrote down here. I will put it down in the show notes so that you can see it. Is very much, it looks like code gibberish. The one I'm going to put down in the show notes is an email validator. Most people see that and they just shut down because they don't know what it is. And they have no reason to know what it is. They are going to assume that they need a computer science degree to understand it. And they're completely wrong. I took the time before this show and I pasted in the exact pattern into ChatGPT and I generated 10 variations in one prompt. And here's what you're going to do. And I want you to try this experiment as well. Even if you don't use Regex yet, you may find a reason to use it. I want you to go into ChatGPT and ask it this. I have a spreadsheet with a column of messy phone numbers. Some have parentheses like open bracket 505 or 550, whatever it is, and close bracket, right? 100, you follow me? And then the rest of the phone numbers. Maybe it's, open bracket 213, close bracket 445-5557. Some have dashes like 557-1234. And some have dots instead, like 557.1234. And some have just a constant stream of numbers like 213-557-1234. I need to extract just the digits from all of them so I have clean data. Write me a Regex formula for Google Sheets or Excel, whichever it is you're going to be using. And then ChatGPT will write something like equals Regex, open parenthesis, A2, comma, and it's going to give you the code, right? Or depending on your platform, it could have a slightly different syntax. But here's the thing I want you to understand. ChatGPT knows the platform's limitations. It knows that Excel doesn't have Regex built in the same way that Google Sheets does. So it'll give you the right answer for either tool. It'll give you the right answer for the right tool. You paste that into the user spreadsheet and their messy data suddenly, poof, becomes clean. And they're like, what? Right? You can almost see their jaw hit their desk because they're stunned. And they will pay you, I don't know, whatever you charge, $75, for example, because the time that you save them is worth thousands to them. Imagine them handing a messy phone number spreadsheet to even an entry-level person in customer service or data entry or purchasing, whatever it is, and they have to go through this long list of phone numbers that are in all these varying ways because people do things differently. And they have to figure them out. They're going to look at each number and write down the right numbers. Look at each number, right, and just even someone that's really super fast and really super smart, it'll take them a while. Now, take that while. Say it takes them 8 hours. Multiply that by their hourly rate, and your $75 becomes pennies. And there's a psychological element here. And it's critical, and almost nobody is out there talking about that. That's why you're here on the Dark Horse Entrepreneur, because I share these hidden little nuggets with you. A business owner posting a spreadsheet request on Upwork, let's say they're in a state of desperation, but it's also going to be mixed with a bit of shame.
The Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast.
They feel like they should know this. They're comparing themselves to people who just get it. Maybe someone like me who's been using spreadsheets forever, and I'm not even a guru in my humble opinion. And then you show up, you speak their language, you fix it in real time, and then you explain it without any judgment. You just become the hero in their story. And then they get to be the hero to someone else in their organization. That emotional imprint is worth 10 times the gig fee alone, because they'll remember you the next time they stumble or bumble or get themselves in a crisis. They'll refer you to other business owners in their network who are also struggling. Desperation is a social emotion, and it spreads. That same dynamic will play out on Fiverr, by the way, but Upwork's urgent posting system makes speed even more valuable there on that platform, which is why that's where I want you to focus, because Upwork has this I need this now kind of opportunity, or Fiverr doesn't have this urgent posting system. You with me? Okay, good. But there's a hidden trap in this whole model, and I think most people miss this. Again, that's why you're here, so that you won't. And it's important that you see it before you start, right? So get excited, but hold on. Let me tell you a couple things. As you get better at this, you're going to start noticing something strange. The problems will get more complex, but the pay ceiling doesn't seem to move up as fast as the complexity. You'll solve a spreadsheet problem for like $50 and it takes you 30 minutes. Then another one takes 2 hours, and you still, for both of those, will only get $75. You feel me? Yeah. Okay. You're going to hit a point where your hourly rate isn't moving up in proportion with your skill set. This is because you're still out there trading time for money. You're still waiting for someone to post a problem before you solve it. You're still bound by the availability of desperate people on the platform like Upwork at any given moment. The real money that I know you want is in the secret that no one tells you. The real money comes when you stop solving problems and start preventing them. Oh, now we're talking a whole different game here, aren't we? This is that infamous false floor moment. Most people think the end point is, I'm really good at fixing spreadsheets, so people should pay me more. Nope, that is not the end point. The end point is, I understand why spreadsheets break, so I build systems that don't break, and I sell those systems before they ever get broken. Yeah? Let that sink in for a second. Think about it. Instead of waiting for someone to post, oh my God, my data is corrupted, please come save me and fix it, you're building a template library. You're creating maybe pre-built dashboards, pivot-based dashboards that summarize data automatically, that sync without breaking. You're selling training packages to teams that want to be self-sufficient. You're generating digital products that solve the problem at scale instead of the one-off Upwork customer at a time. The spreadsheet fixing is the entry point, not the destination. It's the way you build credibility and proof of concept. But if you stay there, you're leaving exponentially more money on the table than you can even imagine. Here's what will happen perhaps in the first 90 days if you actually execute this the way I'm talking about. Week 1, you'll fix 3 or 4 spreadsheet problems. You'll make, maybe $150. You'll ask for testimonials. Maybe you'll get 2 out of those 3 folks. Week 2 and 3, you'll fix a total of 8 more problems. You'll make, let's say, $400, and you're starting to notice some patterns. And you're starting to, in your head, create little guides. Maybe something like how to fix VLOOKUP errors gets pinned onto your profile. You get 3 messages from people saying, I saw your guide. Can you help me before I post? You start taking direct messages at $40 instead of the Upwork commission. By week 6, you're making, maybe $600 to $800 a week. Your response time is fast. Your reputation is growing. You're now in the top tier of spreadsheet fixers on Upwork. Then someone messages you, can you build me a custom dashboard? That's about a $350 to $500 job. Okay, that is where the real side hustler starts accelerating. But here's what kills most people when they hit this stage, and it's subtle, so stick with me here. They get comfortable. They start turning away those $50 gigs because they feel, that's too small. They're waiting for the big jobs, and then the big jobs stop coming because they're not visible in the daily rotation anymore. What happened? Yeah, they dropped off the grid. They dropped off the algorithm's grid. The algorithm that was serving them up to desperate business owners every single day now serves up someone else, your competition. You need to understand something fundamental about making money with AI and spreadsheets. Consistency whoops perfection, but every single day. A $150 job that you complete within 2 hours is worth way more than the $150 job that you're just thinking about completing. Yeah. The compounding effect of 6 small wins a week is more valuable than one medium win or even one big win. Show up, be reliable, fix the problems, ask for referrals, then and only then does the bigger work start to find you naturally. Now, let's talk about the trap, because this is the trap that, again, no one talks about. The trap is thinking that you need to specialize upward. You don't. You need to deepen sideways. Instead of trying to move from spreadsheet fixer to enterprise software engineer, you need to move from spreadsheet fixer to spreadsheet fixer plus automation builder to spreadsheet fixer plus automation plus training. You need to stay in the same domain, but add adjacent services. You learn Google Sheets better. You learn Power Query for cleaning and reshaping Excel data at scale. You pick up Google app scripts for custom automation, and that goes beyond what formulas do all by themselves. Then you go and you learn Zapier integration. You learn how to connect spreadsheets to email and to Slack. Each skill that you add multiplies the value of the base skill that you are building everything upon. A business owner that uses you for spreadsheet fixes then discovers that you can automate their entire weekly reporting. That's a $200 to $400 job, and that could be a monthly recurring gig if you think about it. That's what changes from a side hustle to an actual business. Yeah. And there's also something most people completely underestimate about this specific market. It's counter-cyclical to most other AI opportunities. When the economy tightens, businesses are going to go out there and they're going to tighten the belt. They're going to cut budgets. They're going to stop hiring. But guess what? They still have to fix those broken spreadsheets. Actually, they might even have more broken spreadsheets because of that headcount cut that they did. They need efficiency. They need systems. They need someone who can make their existing tools work better. The $50 spreadsheet fix isn't a luxury expense in their eyes. It's a necessity that costs less than an hour of their time. During economic uncertainty, this particular model that we're talking about in this episode becomes more valuable, not less. That's a psychological advantage that I think is worth you understanding. And let me be clear about one thing here. This works because it solves a real, tangible problem that causes real, tangible pain. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is not passive. It's you solving problems one at a time, building a reputation, and building momentum. But that reputation compounds. After 3 months of consistent work, you'll probably have enough testimonials and reviews that Upwork is going to start recommending you. You'll get messages from people seeking you out specifically. That is when the dynamics shift and the money stops being about your availability and starts being about your reputation. But let me tell you about one final trap. This is the one that catches everyone, I think. And it's thinking that this opportunity is small. Because I can hear some of you right now in my magic headphones, you're saying $50. Yeah, $50 per fix. Your brain is calculating how many you would need to do to make any real money. But you're not accounting for what happens after those first 3 months, like I mentioned here. You're not accounting for the testimonials. You're not accounting for the referrals. You're not accounting for the repeat customers or the brand that you're going to build. The testimonial that says, this person saved me 6 hours of work is worth more than the $50 fee because someone else reads that and decides to hire you at $100 instead of $50. Reputation inflation is real, and you're building it every single time you solve a problem faster than the customer even expected you to. And here's the thing that no one wants to admit. You don't need to be brilliant to win here. You just need to show up. And that's it. That's the whole secret that no one wants to admit. But here's the thing, Jessica, or whatever your particular name is. So Jessica is my avatar. So that's who I'm speaking to. Showing up without a system is how good people burn out chasing $50 gigs forever, or at least for the first 3 months. You don't want to hustle. You want an escape plan. And that's exactly why I built the AI Escape Plan newsletter. Every single issue hands you practical AI-powered strategies to start, grow, and streamline side hustles like the one we just walked through. Strategies built to protect your family time while still boosting your income. Not theory, not hype, just tactical roadmap to more money, more freedom, and more of what really matters to you, which is probably bedtime stories being included. $50 an hour is a good start. That system that runs without you is the actual escape. right? Okay, go sign up at darkhorseinsider.com. I'll throw that link down in the show notes. Do it before you close this episode because motivation, it has a shelf life and yours just started ticking. Okay. And here's the whispered wisdom I want you to really sit with today. The spreadsheet was never the problem. The waiting was the problem. Every parent stuck in the grind is waiting for something, the right time, the right skill, the right permission slip, the right economy, the right this, right, whatever it is. Meanwhile, there are 247 business owners on Upwork right this very minute who don't give a damn about your credentials. They just need someone who will show up and fix their problem. So here's your specific action for today. And it's not go fix a VLOOKUP. We've already covered that. Here's what I want you to do in the next 24 hours. Heck, I'm going to even challenge you further. Do it in the next 2 to 4 hours. Okay? Open up Upwork or Fiverr and just browse. Don't apply. Don't pitch. Just read 15 job postings in the Excel help or spreadsheet category and write down the exact phrase each person uses to describe their pain. That list becomes your template library blueprint. That's the sideways move from fixer to systems builder that we talked about earlier. And it starts within 15 minutes of reading, not 15 hours of doubting yourself. So let's bring this home, okay? You don't need a computer science degree. You don't need permission. You need one broken spreadsheet, one clear formula, and the willingness to show up before you feel ready. Fix a small problem today, build the system tomorrow. That's how freedom actually gets built. One $50 gig, one testimonial, one Tuesday night at a time, all while maybe the kids are asleep. If this episode hit home for you, do me a favor, share it with another person who's still stuck refreshing their inbox, waiting for permission that's probably never going to come. And then go ahead and drop a comment wherever you're listening to this or watching this, letting me know what's the first broken thing that you're going to fix this week. Guard your time, grow your freedom, think successfully, and take action.
Hey, my Dark Horse entrepreneurs, thanks for investing your precious time with us today. I know that between soccer practice and bedtime stories, every single minute counts. And that's exactly why I created the Dark Horse Insider, your weekly dose of digital marketing strategies, all designed specifically for my busy entrepreneurs, especially my busy parent entrepreneurs. If you're ready to turn those small buckets of time into profitable momentum, head on over to darkhorseinsider.com. darkhorseinsider.com and join our free newsletter, because we Dark Horses do not just run the race, we change how the race is won. Until next time, think successfully and take action. darkhorseinsider.com.